All right, we're going to talk about a complete strengths breakdown of the strength significance. I call this one the weighted strength, the burdened strength, the the heavy strength. It's think of it like carrying the planet. You know that pic that I think it's like Atlas, the guy he's like on his knees and he's carrying the planet. You know what I mean? Like that's significance. So if you have significance in your top 10 or in your bottom five, let me know. I'm going to talk about how to use this strength to build confidence, how the strength works on its own, of course, how to use this strength to build confidence, how to use this strength to build relationships, how to use this strength to make a difference and grow your network marketing and coaching business, how to use this strength to be more organized. What is the worst way to use significance, which I could tell you a lot about, and how to shift back into the good of it, if you will. I'm also going to talk about what happens if you have significance low. So I'm going to go into that as well. And so there you go. So when we're talking about significance, we want to understand first, what is it? How does this strength work on its own? And by the way, nothing you're going to get in here is stuff that you can get from Gallup. All right. So if you try to look up stuff from Gallup when it comes to this, you're not going to find it. That's why I talk about it, because Gallup is not. And what I want to do is help you understand how to use this strength. Like, what do you do with it? So if you have this one high in your top 10, let me know. If it's in your bottom five, let me know. So significance just on its own is about making a difference. All right. When people have significance high, it doesn't mean they make a difference. Okay. It means that they have a high desire to make a difference. And the make a difference can be in their world, like the people, their little circle, if you will. It could be in their community, in their church, in their job, in their company, in their business, or literally the entire state, the whole country, or even the entire planet. But the people that have significance high have a desire to see a difference being made in the world. Now, because that difference isn't clear or measurable all the time, it's an energetic strength. So number one is that significance is an energy driving strength, not necessarily a step-by-step strength, right? That would be a practical strength. Significance is also very judgy. Judgy means that if I'm going to be involved in this something, it had better make a difference. If I'm going to be a part of something, it had better make a measurable difference. If you're going to ask me to do something, you better know I'm going to make a difference. And so when someone has significance high, that's a judgy strength on its own. And then when it comes to how it's applied externally. So although significance, people with it high have this internal drive to make a difference, what they want to see that being played out is the world around them. So in the people around them, that's where I'm going to get into the ugly of this strength. When it comes to significance, trying to impact the people around them, that's where it gets really bad. But I'll save that for the end here. But then they want to make a difference in their environment, the systems, the programs, or the communities, or whatever, right? So that's it on its own. Now, how do we use significance to build confidence? I've talked about this in every video so far. Just remember that in order to build confidence, especially significance, we don't do it up here. We don't stare at a mirror and say, I am good. Confidence is built by doing. That's it. The only way to build confidence is to do. If you hesitate to do, you will also hesitate to experience confidence. There you go. So what does significance do? Well, significance impacts. Those of you with significance high, especially if you have it like in your top five, it's about impact. So if you want to build confidence with significance, you look at the things that you work with or are a part of. And it could be a relationship, could be a community, or it could be a business or a program. But ultimately, it's measuring where it is, getting really clear about the metrics that are really important, right? What are the important metrics to measure where something is, whether it's impacting something or not, right? Then getting clear energetically of the impact you want to make. So that's the second part. And then the final third part is go do. You have to do in order to start to see a difference in the thing you're working in. And when you're checking in and getting regular measurements, then you're experiencing the building of confidence. So that's what significance does. They literally impact things to feel confident. Well, they feel confidence when they impact things. Let's just say it that way. So that's how it works for significance. Now, if you want to build a relationship with this strength, then the difference that it must make is in the connection, the how you all do things together. Now, I'm going to say this because a lot of people with significance high tend to keep their relationships very small. Mostly because too many deep relationships can be an anchor to a bigger mission. Now, it doesn't mean they don't care about people. That is not what I mean. What I mean is relationships, like friendships, the way most people would visualize a friendship where they can text a person and just talk about whatever for hours, or get on the phone and talk about whatever for hours, or go hang out and do nothing for hours. This is not where significance enjoys building relationships. Where significance would enjoy building relationships is partnerships, especially, right? How can we partner in our projects? Those are the best relationships. Those are the kind of relationships that people with significance really enjoy, where they're making a difference in a partnership. Now, significance, when people have significance high, they really get pumped about those kind of relationships. Hey, Belinda, thanks for hanging out. Let me know if you have significance in the top 10 or in the bottom 5 or bottom 6 or 7. It's fine too. And we'll talk about it. So how does significance, now we talked about how does significance build confidence? How does significance build relationships? Now, how does significance, people with significance high, build network marketing or coaching businesses? Well, first, let me just add this. Some of you might be thinking that it would be a good idea, a great thing to have significance as a high strength when you're building a business. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not all what you think it is. Significance is number 7 for me. And I'm going to tell you, it's far more push and demand than it is like, woo, look at me go. It's really about putting myself, or putting those with significance, putting yourself in a place where you have no choice. You have to make a difference. So when people that have significance high, and I've done this with people. So if you know anybody with significance high, tell them about this little piece I'm about to share with you and just see how they react. And it's this: whenever I have someone in front of me with significance high, I'll ask them, have you ever felt like sometimes even God himself has looked you in the eye and say, you're not doing enough? Right? Okay, it's 24 for you, Belinda. Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. That's not super low, but pretty low. Anyway, so to go back to this, when a person has significance high, they often know what it feels like to have a higher responsibility than they're ready for or skilled for. And sometimes they can even be a little bit delusional, just FYI, just a little crazy, right? People with high significance have an overwhelming, abundant desire or need to see a difference being made. So when you're building a network marketing business or a coaching business using significance, you want to make sure that your business is mission-based, not just selling a product. Like, come on, people with high significance, we don't have time for that. Look, I'm 50 and I have significance at number 7. You better believe I'm thinking about how much time I really have on this planet. So the last thing I'm going to ever do is waste time selling something stupid. It's not at all part of my DNA. What I'm doing has to, in my heart, in my mind, and with my conversations with God himself, has to make a difference on this planet. So for me, when I think about strengths, I think about 2 things: individuals loving and embracing how they are different than anybody else in the world, and simultaneously loving every other human being on this planet for being different. Let me say that again. So you all understand, this is how significance builds a coaching business or a network marketing business. You got to make a decision that what you're going to do is going to make a difference. And if you want to go global with this. But for me, once again, I talk about strengths because I know what happens when every human being on this planet loves and appreciates and commits to and honors how God infinitely, uniquely created them compared to anybody ever created or anybody ever will be created. Come on, do you hear these big words that are coming out of me? That's significance. It's a driver for me. That makes me do videos every day. So there's that. And then at the same time, love and appreciate every other human being on this planet for how we are different. You see, because for those of us that have significance high, some of us have it low. And when we work with people that have it at opposite ends, we lean on each other's other strengths. We need each other, friends, but we also need to help each other understand the value of our differences. Why it's a good thing that we are all different. Why it's a good thing that we all have different opinions and different core values. It is a good thing. It is a required thing. God made us this way. So, see what I mean? This is how people of high significance build network marketing businesses and coaching businesses. They focus on how the products and the services that they do, how it makes a difference in the world, and you make it mission-based. So there you go. So with that being said, right, that big dramatic thing, that being said, how does somebody with significance get organized? So now people with high significance generally are pretty impulsive. Generally, not always, but generally pretty impulsive. Not the most slow down and stay in the moment and get something structured and organized kind of people, but they can be that. They can do those things if they can see how organization makes a difference in the long run. But somebody with significance, I'm going to suggest that you work out with somebody or work with somebody who's an organization person. Find somebody with strengths like deliberative and responsibility. Find someone with those, and harmony. There you go. If you can find someone who's got deliberative, responsibility, and harmony in their top 10, you've found someone that can help you organize, but in a way that will help you make an impact on the world. And that's where significance will get very excited about a partnership like that. Lisa Gould says, Lad says, husband has this at number 2, maximizer at 1, and command at 4, and then discipline, kind of intense strengths. Yeah, this isn't Mr. Fuzzy, huggy person. No. So for Lisa, with a husband like that, definitely don't, we don't send people to him to be coddled. We send people to him to be challenged, to be pushed, to be, inspired, if you will. On such a higher level. Hello, Julie. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, so let's talk about the worst way, the absolute worst way to use significance. Lisa, listen up. The absolute worst way to use significance is to believe that anyone else's actions, thoughts, or feelings are going to create a result that has anything to do. Let me say that again. If you're going to use significance, this is the worst way to use it, is to believe that anyone else's thoughts, anyone else's feelings, anyone else's actions impact you. The minute you do that, you have left your strengths and you've become something you don't want to be. A person who pushes people away instead of forward. A person who disconnects with people instead of inspires them. A person who becomes unproductive instead of a person who becomes boring and unrelatable. When you choose, if you have if you have significance in your top 10 and you choose to take responsibility over what other people are thinking and feeling and doing and creating, you're going to get pretty nasty to be around. Too much. The weight of the world that you've created in your head, you blow it up on others and they're not ready for it and it's not their calling. And so what happens is you push people away and the significant changes that take place is you become alone. And, I'm sure a lot of people have said it's lonely at the top. It's lonely to be the leader. And that's really not true. But it is lonely at the top and lonely to be a leader when you've spent your life pushing everybody away because they don't meet the expectations of your vision. So how do we shift out of that? When you have significance high, you say, I want to make a difference in the world, but I don't force that difference. I want to be the difference, inspire the difference in others, and ask God, am I on the right track? This is critical. If you have significance high, everybody that knows somebody like Lisa's husband especially, if you know somebody that has significance high, this is the best way to stay in the absolute best of your significant strength. I will be the change I want to see in the world. I will do everything I can to influence others to do that too. And I will go to God and say, is this what you want me to do? Is this what you called me to do? If not, what do you want me to do? And going from there. This will keep you in your business and help you become the person you really want to be, a person who inspires change. And that's where everything gets better. So now let's talk about this. If you have significance, low. Now for me, low is generally anything between 28 and 34. If you've got it like between 25 and 28, this isn't going to be that much, but definitely if you've got it between 28 and 34. To focus on needing to make a difference in the world would drain you, right? To focus on that. It doesn't mean you don't make a difference in the world. Remember, strength has nothing to do with what you can't do. But if you focus on the some kind of responsibility to make a difference in the world, you will become the opposite of who you want to be, who will actually make a difference in the world. So people that have significance low tend to have strengths like empathy, harmony, adaptability, intellection, learner. You know, these are typical strengths that a person with significance really low would probably have in their top 10. And so what I'm saying is that when you focus on making a difference in the world, you stop being those top strengths. You stop being that person that's going to actually make a difference in the world. Just to give you an example, it could be imagine two people sitting in a restaurant together. And let's say they're really good friends and they're talking to each other about each other's problems. Well, and then both of them walk away where they helped each other out and their lives are better. One of them could have significance at number 1 and the other one could have significance at 34, yet they both make an impact on each other's lives their way. And it wouldn't matter. So that's the point, is that if you have significance high, you make a difference by focusing on making a difference. If you have significance low, you make a difference by focusing on your top strengths. That's how it works. So Julie, perfect. Julie, so we got Julie here. Laura, I'm going to get to your question in just a second. Julie's got significance at 34. She's watching this video right now. So Julie, I want you to tell me in your top 5, there it is. Harmony is 1. Tell me, do you have empathy, adaptability, or intellection? Any one of, just out of curiosity, any one of those 3 in your top 10 as well. Let me know. And while I'm getting your answers here, I'm going to go to Laura's question. Laura says, what about the people like me who have both empathy and significance in our top 10? Ooh, new wrinkle. Great question. Okay, so first off, understand that strengths are tools. They're not they're not one-dimensional rules only. Like you can't use them just because one might be different than the other. Understand they're tools. Like for me, I think of strengths like being Batman, right? Y'all remember Batman with the freaking utility belt, right? So for you, Laura, you've got significance and empathy, right? So you've got your significance tool and you've got your empathy tool. And both of them can be used simultaneously or one after another or whatever to ultimately help you do the things you want to do. But if I were to combine those two desires together, make a difference in the world while caring about people's feelings. So for you, Laura, you can say, I make a difference in the world by like finding out where people are, how they feel about it, where they want to go, how they feel about that, and how we can help them be mindful and loving about their emotions as they make the journey from where they are to where they want to go. All right, that's an example, Laura. I hope that helps. Okay, Julie says, in her top 10, empathy, adaptability, and learner. There you go, right? So for you, Julie, how you make a difference in the world is you care about people's feelings. You go with the flow of how things are and you utilize that flow, right? And then you learn from it to improve who you are from the inside, to get better at seeing how who you are impacts the flow. And so I hope that makes some sense, but there's a lot of things you do that make a difference in the world without ever focusing on that difference. People of high adaptability, just to use the adaptability strength, just out of curiosity, while we're talking here, Julie, do you have futuristic between 28 and 34? Tell me on that one, or even context. Julie, let me know if you have futuristic or context between 28 and 34. Belinda says, I have adaptability in 1, harmony 6, 1 through 6 relationship. Okay, cool. So just to kind of like, these are great questions that I'm getting here on the fly in this video. When you have not about following some sort of a vision or a mission, it's more about following like who's God put in front of you, what are their feelings right now, and what can you be of service to and support of. And when you do that, right, you forget about your needs or your desires or your worries or your fears, which is generally where significance people live in their own stuff. Influencing strengths are very self-centered. Okay, so futuristic 21, context 13. All right, so not really a big impactor there, but definitely being in the moment. Right? All right, my friends, have an awesome day. We'll see you all on the next video. Bye, everybody.